Maya, broadcasting from the UK, and today is your Saturday shave. So I'm going through the old classic sticks, shaving sticks, and today it's going to be the Wilkinson sword, one of my absolute favorites. Not so much because of the scent, even though the scent is fabulous, or well, let's not say is nice, as in clean and, you know, a shop produced soap, but what I'm trying to say, it performs very well. I finally got it out. Okay, I've cut some off at the top, that's why it's not as long as it usually is, but that's what it looks like, and it comes covered up completely in this like aluminium foil. And because I like keeping my soaps dry and hygienic, that's why I leave them as they are in there. And I have cut off, and by request I actually weighed it. I cut off a disc of 1.2 grams, which is about a quarter of a teaspoon to everyone else. But because it's a hardish soap, I cut the disc off, and I've put half a teaspoon of water into my blue scuttle with the soap in there just to start blooming. So as you can see, that's half a teaspoon left, that's 2.5 mils to you. Right, I am going to be using my Yaqi Timber Wolf 26 mils brush synthetic today. It has got quite some backbone and a bulb top. I like this brush a lot. It feels nice in the hand and you've got a good grip to it. And if you've got bigger hands, you can also hold it like that. Right, synthetic, so it doesn't need pre-soaking. I am going to cleanse my face first. Oh, what is it with me today? I am going to cleanse my face first with the Infinite Hydrating Cleanser. So I'm going to do that first. Then I will use my razor, which is the Big Beastie. This is the Big Beastie, and it's a three part. Comes out as threes. I can't talk today. What's the matter with me? Anyway, and I'm going to put in that the Chinese Gillette Blue Blade. The Super Gillette Blue Blade. It actually is a fabulous blade, and it's double wrapped. I was well surprised by this blade. There we go. I'm trying not to cut my fingers doing this. Right, let's load the razor. This is quite an aggressive razor. There's quite a blade gap, and it has a tiny bit of an overhang on each side, so be aware of that as well. It is also heavy and has quite a long handle and a scalloped edge. Right, let's get off to lathering first. So let's dip my brush. I have in my basin next to me warm water with a flannel. Let's just dip that brush and shake it out a few times. I don't want too much water at first, so I shake it out well. Okay, as you can see, it's hardly any water left in there, it's just wet. I'll adjust the camera angle now. And in my scuttle I have no water in the bottom of my scuttle because I'm showing you the lathering. Okay, so here we go. So I have half a teaspoon of water in here already. Let's see, there we go. This stick is obviously made for face lathering. I don't like face lathering, I always bowl lather. I'm going to add another half teaspoon in. That's now total of 5 mils or 1 teaspoon in here. And there's no need when lathering, because I see that sometimes that people press rather hard down. You don't need to do that, the brush will do the work for you. If you've got a natural bristle brush, if you press down, then it will damage the brush in the long term. So don't do that. And as you can see, this is a super performer, this soap. In fact, I've most probably put too much in there. But I always do that, I rather have too much than too little. I'm drawing up another teaspoon of water. That's 5 mils. I'm adding another half one in. So that's 1.5 teaspoons. And as I said, this was 1.2 grams of soap, which is about 1/4 teaspoon. This Timber Wolf will always store a lot of lather in the brush, so don't be deceived that there isn't that much in the Scuttle. Okay, as you can see, it's already a fabulous lather. It's not quite shiny yet. And it can take some more water, so I'm adding a bit more water. I'm adding another half a teaspoon, so now I have 2 teaspoons of water in there, or 10 mils. Okay. Another tip, if you are going to be using 24 mil, 26 mil or even 28 mil brushes, get yourself a large scuttle, not the small one. A small scuttle or medium scuttle will take brushes up to 24 mils, and then but the smaller ones have difficulties even with the 24 mils. They're normally made for up to 22 mils, medium up to 24 mils brushes, especially if they're flat top, then you will notice even more. So as you see, I can work out a fabulous lather here. It's all shiny and creamy. Let's see, let's just push this today a bit. See how much I can actually get out of it. I'm adding another half a teaspoon, so that makes 2.5 teaspoons of water. Let's see. Look at that, it's already splaying out everywhere. Spilling out, not splaying out, spilling out. And I have loads and loads in the brush as well. I must say, with the sticks, I prefer brushes with a little bit of a backbone. They lather better than ones that are too floppy. But you can, or let's say easier, not better. they lather easier with a backbone brush. If you have a floppy one, it will work, of course it will. It'll just take a little longer. Okay, can you see how lovely this is? And I can push this even further. Let me just check. Slickness is there, skin protection is there. It's not sticky, lots of slide and glide. Yeah, that's adhering to the skin very nicely already. Shall we try push this a bit more? Let's try with 2 teaspoons. Okay, it's quite wet in there now. Let's see. Oh, look what I've done, the usual. Okay, doesn't matter, let's keep going. Let's do this little experiment. Fast forward if it's getting too boring for you, but I want to see how much this will actually take. And look at this. I think I could even get another half a teaspoon out of this. But now I've got lather coming out everywhere. Oh, yay! Okay. Wonderful. There we go. That's the fun of lathering. Okay, I think I could get out even more. Let's just test the soap again. Yes, you see I've worked it that bit longer with more water and it's now even more creamy. It has more substance to it. So sometimes it takes time just to get the right lather as you like it best. Just keep going. And I think I love the feel of this. So I will stop here. Just look at that up close. I have here actually, I bet I could do my legs, my arms, and 3 passes on my face with this amount of lather, and most probably be left with some. So let me just put this down. Make sure it's somewhere safe so I don't knock it down. My lovely scuttle. Right, and let's readjust this. Let me just cleanse my face. And what I also like about these sticks, is the price. They're all affordable, no matter which one you look at. They perform well. And now I've forgotten what I was going to say. They're transportable. You can take them on your travels. Now look what I've done. I've been distracted. I forgot to cleanse my face, didn't I? Let's wash that off. I've got more than enough, so I don't have to worry. They're easy, you can get hold of them easy. So here we go, let's put the cleanser on. Right, let's cleanse. Maya, what was the point you were making? I've forgotten. And because of their price point, if you use a lot of it, and overdo it sometimes, it doesn't matter. And of course they're space saving as well. And as they're normally somewhere between the 30 grams, I think you can get some are 30 grams, some are 50 grams sticks, depending. Well, the tobacco one is even more, I can't remember. The tobacco one is, I think, 75 grams or more. Let's have a look, have I got it in here? Yes, I do, 100 grams actually. So the benefit of that obviously is that you save space, and of course you can change the flavor of the soap a bit more often. So top tip today is don't rush the lather. The longer you lather, and I don't mean now stand there for 5 minutes, but the longer you lather, the creamier normally the soap will become, and the more adhering it will be to the skin and give you that extra protection. Oh, let's make sure I don't cut all my sideburns away. They're very economic. And if you bowl lather like I do, then you can also add fragrance to the soap if you want to give it a special scent. That's another good reason for bowl lathering. So this blade and this razor combination is very good indeed. I won't need many passes because I don't need such an aggressive razor in general. But every now and then I like to use it. Right, let's go for the next. This is already super close. So shave sticks are super beginner friendly. Unfortunately, the scales that I have either, oopsie, sorry for the noise, these small ones that I used to use for the mineral makeup when I used to make my own, which go from, you know, small amounts I think the lowest is 0.1 of a gram and goes up to maybe 30 grams or something. And the kitchen scales I have, they don't weigh the small amounts, otherwise I would have had fun just to see how much lather it actually produced. Even though the lather is so airy, it's very hard to weigh, but that would have been maybe a nice little experiment. Okay, I'm just going to do a pickup now. I have down here still a little bit of a whisker that's been annoying me. It's being especially stubborn. You see, with that much glide and even an aggressive razor, you won't cut yourself if you're careful enough. Of course, don't press down like crazy either. You can buff and you can do hooks, not as a beginner, and it won't harm you. So let me just pause you for a second. I want to let the water out, and I'll be back with you in a minute once I've just filled my basin up. Sometimes my water takes so long to get warm enough, so that's why I switched you off. So I've taken the remainder of the lather out of the brush, and this is what I was still left with. This, so you can see what I mean, that even after, well, 2¼ passes, I have still got loads left, as I suspected. Yeah, and you can also see that the sticks hardly ever disintegrate. They keep their lather well. So you've seen this is more or less real, or this is real time. It has been just stood there and it has not disintegrated or anything. This is still creamy lather, and I bet with you, if I came back in half an hour to an hour, this wouldn't be significantly different. Right, so let's cleanse the face. Wet the face. Get the residual off. Oh, now I've steamed up my glasses. That was a good one, Naya. I can't see anything. Okay. Okay, let's get some toner on. I'm using the Aloe Balancing Toner. And this is going to most probably not sting, but I will feel the difference. I just want to show you, I don't know if I can, that when I rub the toner onto my hands, can you see the tiny, almost, no, you can't see it, but you can feel it, that it has got a lot of saponins in, which are also cleansing. So I'm putting the toner on. Actually, it's not stinging at all, but it is super smooth. Right, so let's leave the toner on for a few seconds whilst I choose what after. Oh, look what I've done. Made such a mess that my Kent wooden brush has been standing in water. That's not very clever. Although it hasn't damaged it, thank goodness for that, because I did put linseed oil onto it. That was actually a tip from Flash Boredom. He he said to me, because this was lacquered at first and it had the seal of approval from Her Majesty on it, and it started coming off, so I sandpapered all of it off. And he said, well, why not then just put oil on it? And I used linseed oil and it's worked very well. But I think I'd have to most probably reapply it a bit. This brush is still, this is just as an example, it has an enigma. Because as you can see dry, it is super tough. And it's hardly splayed out, only here on the sides. It still loses the odd hair, but once it's been soaking for a minimum of 3 minutes, because I'm stupid like that, I timed it, then it gets really soft to the skin. But it still hasn't splayed out like some other ball brushes do. It hasn't done that yet, even though it is getting now soft. And I've had it now, this is the very first brush I bought. So this is now nearly a year ago. And I've been using it on a bi-daily basis, just, brushing, and even if I don't use it for shaving, I have been, at least using it bi-daily as a minimum, sometimes daily, just to get that conditioned. And I think it's finally getting there. And why am I explaining all of this? Because I was about to give up on this brush, thinking this is never going to get soft enough, but it is now. So you can see this would be a product for life. If that were the only brush you buy, and this is a Kent MS70, so the large one, I think it is 24 millimeters. I can't really tell, because this is a 26 synthetic and this looks bigger. However, if I just compare the other big one I have, which is natural hair, which is the 26, this is by Mocha Dual Badger, then can you see? It almost looks the same, doesn't it? A tiny bit smaller, so that's why I think it's most probably a 24. But if anybody knows how you actually measure this, because of course it's splayed a little bit now, it's so you can't get accurate measurements. How does one actually get to 26, 28 or 24, I have absolutely no idea. There you go. So that's just another aside. Oh, and I wanted to mention one more thing whilst I'm thinking of it, is if you think you have a brush that is too floppy, you can always get a plastic ring or a metal ring or some kind of a ring that you can put over your brush, and that way shorten the bristles without actually cutting them. Some people do cut, but I don't think that's a good idea. Just put the ring around until you've got used to it, or if you want sometimes a floppy and sometimes a brush with more backbone, then just use a ring around. Actually, it still feels as if it's got some soap in it, so let me just shake that out. So that was the soap, as I told you. Right, and now I've talked so long, let's just get Gentleman's Pride on. That's an aftershave balm with no alcohol. Right, and has a superb scent. I love this scent. Here we go. Super moisturizing. Also a very classic scent. Fresh. Bit on the cologne side. There we go. Let that soak in all the goodness. So I am done for today, and I hope I've given you information that was of some use, maybe also to those that aren't exactly beginners. Tell me what you think. Have you any comments to it? Leave them below. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up. And if you want to see more of this kind of video or any others that I do, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button. So that is it for today. I wish you a wonderful weekend and see you soon. Bye bye.